Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn, and we're just going to kind of hang out and chill for a moment and talk about what we think might be at the upcoming PlayStation Showcase, the State of Play. Are they calling it State of Plays anymore? This just says PlayStation Showcase. Are we just calling them showcases now? They used to be called Sony State of Plays, and everyone's hated the name. Maybe that's why they're not called that anymore. Anyway, so there's going to be a State of Play. At the time that this video goes live, it's going to be like tomorrow, I think. I think this is going to go live on the 23rd. So we're going to be talking about what we think might be there, as well as maybe placing a bet or two on what may or may not be there. Now, a couple of things about this. This is supposed to be pretty long. It's supposed to be upwards of an hour, if I remember their announcement correctly, which is fairly lengthy for Sony. A lot of the times their State of Plays are like, what are they normally? They're like 20 minutes at most, like, or sometimes even shorter than that. Very, very short. So this is going to be fairly lengthy, and this is going to be, I mean, in a way, I guess it's going to be the initial kickoff of the announcement spree, the summer celebration of games. I don't want to just call it the Summer Games Fest, because that is one thing that's happening, and like, that's a great name, Jeff Keighley, you bastard. Summer Game Fest is a fantastic name for your own, like, not E3 style showcase, but at the same time, it's like also a great name to talk about everything else that everyone else is doing, because we got the Summer Games Fest, we got the the Xbox showcase, we got the Ubisoft Direct. What else is there? Hang on, I got a list. I can tell you everything that's coming up in the very, very near future. Here we go. So we got the PlayStation Showcase, we got the Tribeca Festival June 7th, Summer Game Fest June 8th, Days of Play June 9th and 10th, Xbox plus the Bethesda Showcase on the 11th, Starfield Direct on the 11th, Ubisoft Forward on the 12th. So, like, in the next couple of weeks, we are going to see a whole lot of announcements. Looks like State of Plays are geared to be out 20 minutes, where showcases are bigger. Maybe that's the difference, is about size. So this is going to be the initial kickoff on that, and just as a heads up, we will be doing similar videos and predictions for a lot of those other showcases as well. But so we're going to talk about what we think might be there and what might not be there, specifically at the Sony PlayStation Showcase, okay? Because they didn't say, like, what to expect. I know that they said a variety of titles is kind of the most detail that we have, but like with the Nintendo Directs, right, they'll be like, yo, expect, you know, nothing but third-party indies, and you're like, okay, Zelda, Mario, Pokemon, not gonna be there. And especially Nintendo now will just be like, yeah, there's going to be Pokemon there, dog. And everyone's like, oh, shit, there's going to be Pokemon there. Whereas, you know. Anyway, so yeah, Sony. What do we think's going to be there? All right? I'll list out some options. Let's also talk about whether I think those options are possible or not. So at the top of the list, we got Death Stranding 2. Now, Death Stranding, when it first released, was a PlayStation exclusive, latest title by one and only Hideo Kojima from Kojima Studios after he broke free from the chains that are Konami. And Death Stranding 2 was shown off for the first time at the Game Awards back in December of 2022. I don't think that Death Stranding 2 is going to be there, okay? Unless Death Stranding 2 is much closer than I'm expecting, I don't know if it's here yet when they just announced it in December. You think they're going to intro with Death Stranding 2? I mean, if they're going to, if Death Stranding 2 is going to be there, they're probably going to intro it or outro it, right? And I'm not sure how Sony handles their showcases, because with their State of Plays, they normally close big rather than open big. So, but also there's some other stuff on here that it's like, if you're looking at what could or could not be that big thing that just closes it out, and then they're like, yeah, we'll see you in August, everybody, and then it fades to black. Like, there's some other stuff in here that it's like, you would have competition on that slot, right? A couple other options is Ghost of Tsushima 2. I'm not sure how close that could be with Sucker Punch Studios. Ghost of Tsushima wasn't that long ago. I mean, it feels like a long time ago, but game development takes a really long time, right? So, I mean, maybe, but I don't think that would be anything that would be immediate either. There has been that rumor going around, though, that we're getting a Horizon Zero Dawn remake. Now, I know that that's already like a... right? Because Horizon Zero Dawn released in 2017 for the PlayStation 4, and people are like, you're going to remake a game that is barely even 5 years old? But here's where it is, all right? Yes, they are, okay? Because the original Horizon was it was a work of mastery, but it was on the PlayStation 4 and was limited by it, okay? And there's this big push to get stuff on PlayStation 5, and on top of that, everyone was like, why the hell did Naughty Dog remake The Last of Us Part 1, right? Last of Us Part 1 remastered still looks pretty good. Why'd you need a remake? Because of the HBO show. That's why. There was no other real reason. Like, they said they wanted it for you know, future-proofing it and stuff like that. No, it's because a whole bunch of people watched The Last of Us on HBO Max and then went, this is based off a game? I'm gonna go buy the game. There is a Horizon Zero Dawn show coming. I don't remember who's making it, whether it's HBO or Netflix or Peacock or who fucking ever, Hulu. I don't know. That's why they're going to remake Horizon Zero Dawn. And they're going to have a nice big fancy version to put on the PlayStation 5. And it's not for us. It is for people to buy that watch the stream show. That's strictly what it is. Mostly just guessing. It'll at least be shown. Kojima has been posting a lot on Death Stranding on social media. Kojima just posts a lot, though. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen pictures of Kojima being like, with like some random celebrity on the freaking Zoom call behind him, and he's like, check it out, I'm talking to insert any celebrity you can imagine. And it's like, oh, okay, are they in Death Stranding too? And he's like, no, he's just my friend. And you're like, okay, Kojima, that's cool, buddy, you're really weird. But by all means. No, I mean, it absolutely could be. There's still more that we can talk about. I don't know what the time frame is on that Horizon Zero Dawn show. If it is around the corner, then they would need to announce the remake for Horizon Zero Dawn fairly soon. I think that Naughty Dog already was upset that they didn't get the Part 1 remake out on all platforms before the HBO show was out and finished, because they probably believe that they missed out on sales. And they probably did, because people were like, I'm going to go get it. Oh, it's not on PC or whatever. All right, well, never mind. And then they forgot about it and moved on, because that's how things go. What else do we have? The live service The Last of Us game. I don't know about the... there was the Factions. Is that what it was called? I bet it's Factions. Yeah. Because there was a multiplayer mode in The Last of Us Part 1 that wasn't present in Last of Us Part 2, and we know is coming as part of The Last of Us Part 1 remake, but it's just not in the game right now. So maybe that. Hey, Rochi, what's up? We're talking about the PlayStation Showcase that's coming out on Tuesday and trying to discuss and talk and predict what could be in there. There's supposed to be a new Twisted Metal game coming out. There's also supposed to be a Twisted Metal movie or show or something coming out, right? Like, everything, like, it's weird because we moved so far away for the longest time from movie tie-ins. Like, licensed video games based off of movies and shows were always historically just some of the worst fucking video games in history. And now what we're seeing instead is we're seeing movies and shows based on licensed video game properties and getting new video games in that series as a way to get extra profit off of the movies and shows that are being made based off the video game. Like, what a weird full circle that came around, right? Of like, I make the movies now. Like, oh, how the turntables. I am in shock to did. What else do we have in here? Marvel's Spider-Man 2. That'll absolutely be there. No question. Spider-Man 2 was announced to be coming out this year. and we have not seen anything for it. Not really. So Marvel's Spider-Man 2, you are getting a release date on Tuesday. I mean, the consumer is older now, yeah, and all the people that grew up playing video games and not watching TV all have their own money now. And they're like, shit, we need their money. We get their money. So yeah, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, here's the thing, right? This thing's going to be an hour long, but there was also the last state of play that we had was like 47 minutes long, 43, and 20 minutes of that was all dedicated to Suicide Squad, Murder the Justice League, or Kill the Justice League, whatever the moniker on that game is. Suicide Squad, Murder the Justice League is what I'm going to call it. And so, like, it was like half the show, you know? It was 43 minutes, and we talked about Suicide Squad for half of it. I would not be surprised if this is an hour-long show, and 20 minutes, 25 minutes of it is dedicated to something like Marvel Spider-Man 2. It could be Death Stranding 2. It could be Marvel Spider-Man 2. It could be a whole bunch of things. But I bet that hour long is not an hour long of 3 to 6 minute announcements, and instead a handful of 3 to 6 minutes announcements, and then probably like a 20-minute long showcase of some big project. What else do we have that I'm literally just pulling off of other people's lists, by the way. Like, I did not have the time to research all the studios that Sony owns and stuff. Especially with the new animated movie coming out too. Yeah, the Enter the Spider-Verse. Is that what it's called? It's the new animated one. You already said that. So what else do we got? Okay, here's one that I would really like to see there, okay? Little game called Lost Soul Aside, okay? Man, I really hope that we get to see at least a release window on Lost Soul Aside. If you haven't seen Lost Soul Aside, I will try to remember to put a link to our reaction to it down below. Lost Soul Aside was a hyper indie game that was being made by somebody overseas somewhere. And they took a huge amount of inspiration from Final Fantasy 15, especially the way that Noctis teleports around using his weapons, and just had this amazing display of a game that they were wanting to make and work on. It's a beautiful action game. And everyone was super hyped about it, and then Sony was like, we will give you a lot of money to make that. And the developer was like, okay. And so Sony came in as a publisher and essentially funded them setting up a larger studio to be able to actually get the game made. And we saw some of the fruits of that last year, I think. And so I hope that that game is getting closer in a way that we might be able to have a release month maybe. I really hate release years, okay? Like, if Lost Soul Aside is there and it's like coming 2024, I'm like, well, okay. Hopefully arriving in the next 18 months. Got it. But that could be the end of that 18 months. And then in 12 months, during the PlayStation Showcase in May of 2023, they come out and be like, all right, Lost Soul Aside releasing December 4th, 2024. And then we come to the freaking Tokyo Game Show in September, and they're like, Lost Soul Aside has been delayed until February 2025. And I'm like, God damn it. If you can't tell, I'm getting really tired of games getting announced way too early. Lost Soul Aside gets a pass because it was originally just like somebody, it was like one or two people working on it on the side, indie. They were putting clips out on Twitter. They got one trailer made and put up on YouTube, and then they got a whole lot of attention. You are completely an exception to this in every way. I'm mostly shouting at somebody else that we'll talk about later. Rise of the Ronin is the upcoming game coming from Team Ninja. It's which they just released Wolong Fallen Dynasty, but they have Rise of the Ronin coming out that I believe is exclusive to PlayStation 5. And it is a new Soulsian game from them. And if it's coming out in 2024, that's still, 12 to 18 months away, depending on where it's releasing in the year. But we should probably be seeing a little bit more of it soon. Stellar Blade. formerly known as Project Eve, also known as the game where everyone was checking out high-res cyborg booty, but it also looks like a really damn good character action fighter, okay? A spectacle fighter on the realm of Bayonetta. Stellar Blade looks really, really great. It's supposed to come out in 2023. It is May. We do not have a release date. We need a release date. We need one bad, y'all. I would love one just so that I can figure out plans. Like, don't put it too close to Final Fantasy 16. Final Fantasy 16 releases the end of June, June 22nd. So, you know, maybe push Stellar Blade to, like, August? August sounds good. Yeah. August is still summer. Yeah, there you go. August 2023. Do it. If I had a calendar ready, I would even give you a specific day, but I don't have a calendar immediately at my fingertips. But speaking of Final Fantasy 16, Final Fantasy 16 is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. It's not going to be on any other platforms, at least not right away. I imagine after 1 to 2 years, it will find its way onto PC, likely through the fucking Epic Games Store. If it's not through the Epic Games Store, then it'll at least be on Steam, but Square Enix and Sony are like, Epic Games Store. We like them giving us their money. So Final Fantasy 16 will be there, okay? Absolutely. There's going to be at least one trailer for Final Fantasy 16. It releases in a month. It'll be out in less than a month when this showcase comes off. It's going to probably be like the final trailer before the launch trailer, right? It'll be... There was a dedicated state of play to Final Fantasy 16 last month, something like that. So Final Fantasy 16 is going to be there. I don't expect it to get a whole lot of attention, just like one extra trailer, probably realm of 3 to 5 minutes. Big cinematographic would make sense to be there. I would be shocked if it wasn't there. But let's talk about a couple of the elephants in the room, okay? We brought up Final Fantasy, which is Square Enix, okay? Square Enix are the ones that piss me off the most because I love their products a lot, but they're really bad about announcing them, and I'm not joking, 10 years too soon. Jesus Christ, guys. Square Enix, you suck at this. Now, Square Enix in an earnings call did recently just talk about how they're wanting to refocus on the AAA experience and deliver high quality games that brings, like, I forget what their stupid corporate speak was. And everyone was like, yes, Square Enix, do that. Please. Do that. But here's the thing, okay? Square Enix's largest competition is itself. I know that sounds weird, right? But a lot of people will be like, well, what about like Bandai Namco? No. It's not Bandai Namco. Square Enix's biggest competition is Square Enix, and here's why, okay? Square Enix makes JRPGs that appeal to Western audiences. And I know that Square Enix recently was like, we don't want to appeal to the Western audiences anymore, not as strong as we used to, and that's why we sold off all of our studios and sold them for a song. And it's like, yeah, I get that, but at the same time, most of their money comes from Western sales. Comes from us freaking Americans and us them there Europeans buying up them their Final Fantasy games and similar titles, okay? Bandai Namco makes some anime-ass games, okay? Bandai Namco is the anime studio. They're the people that make, like, the Tales series. They make every single anime licensed game, whether it's, like, One Piece Odyssey or Dragon Ball or whatever, right? All of the anime-ass anime stuff that people are like, that's too fucking weeby for me. Where's my Teen Titans, which is the most anime Western cartoon ever, aside from maybe Avatar: The Last Airbender. They're the ones that make those games. And those games are not the kind of games that compete with the games that Square Enix makes. Square Enix makes games like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts and Dragon Quest. And speaking of those games, there are games in all of those franchises that have been announced by Square Enix. Dragon Quest XII, Fires of Retribution or whatever, Fires of Fate, that was announced in 2021, I think? Now, mind you, that announcement was a logo, okay? Which, by the way, Square Enix, Fuck you. Announcing a game is like, Bethesda announced Elder Scrolls 6, and they're like, we will begin working on Elder Scrolls 6 when we finish Starfield. And everyone's like, why the fuck did you announce Elder Scrolls 6 back in 2019 if you weren't even going to start working on it until 2023? Square Enix out here announcing freaking Dragon Quest 12 as a logo. We have no idea anything about that game. Another point, Square Enix announced Kingdom Hearts 4 in 2020? I think they announced it in 2020. Maybe it was 2021. What is time? The pandemic devoured all time. And we did get a video. We got to see a cinematic with Sora fighting in what looked like a modern world, our world against a Heartless. And then we have heard nothing else about that project for years. And everyone's like, where the fuck is Kingdom Hearts 4? Hello? And then we also have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, entry number 2 of the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy, which they did announce was releasing in winter of 2023. Now, I will remind you that corporate winter, man, does that sound like an apocalyptic fucking setting? Corporate winter. That sounds awful. That sounds like a world that I would loathe to exist in. Corporate winter is from the solstice winter, December 22nd through December 23rd through March 22nd, or whatever it is. So winter 2023 can literally be from the very end of December to basically the end of March, which means that it is probably actually releasing early 2024. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, if it does not get delayed, is probably releasing in February of 2024. I say February because that's the month that Kingdom Hearts 3 released in 2019, and it was the original month that Final Fantasy VII Remake was supposed to release in 2020. It got delayed till April, but it was originally supposed to release in February. That is still only 9 months away. Even if it's February 2024, that is 9 months from now. We have received this much for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. We've received this much for Kingdom Hearts 4. We have received basically nothing for Dragon Quest 12. Okay? And here's the thing is that, like, what I mean by Square Enix's largest competition is Square Enix is that Final Fantasy 16 comes out next month in June. Okay? And if you announce before that game comes out, what are the games that are going to compete with Final Fantasy 16? Stellar Blade, but that's, we'll set that one aside. The other games that compete with it are fucking Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Kingdom Hearts 4. Like, they're not going to want to talk too much about those games until they've gotten their sales from Final Fantasy 16. It's the same reason everyone was like, where's Final Fantasy 16? Where's Final Fantasy 16? And I'm like, they will talk about it after they're done getting their money from Final Fantasy VII Remake. Boom howdy, shortly after Final Fantasy VII Remake was out and they got their sales, bam, Final Fantasy 16. Because they didn't want to cannibalize their own sales by advertising their next game. Now here's the question though. PlayStation Showcase, May 24th, Tuesday. It is 29 days before June 22nd, which is when Final Fantasy 16 releases. Is Square Enix going to put Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Kingdom Hearts 12, Kingdom Hearts 12 will all be dead by the time we get to Kingdom Hearts 12. The Earth will have experienced the sun going fucking nuclear. The heat death of the universe will come before Square Enix could manage to get its ass to Kingdom Hearts 12. Dragon Quest 12, Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't think we see them. I don't think we see any of them. Because Square Enix is going to want to push Final Fantasy 16. But then that raises the question of like, well, what the fuck? When are they going to talk about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth? Especially if it's supposed to be out in 9 months. when are they going to announce it, right? When are they going to talk about it? As a couple of options. San Diego Comic-Con is July 20th through the 23rd, although it's not normally huge on video game announcements. We have QuakeCon on August 10th. No. THQ Nordic on August 11th. Absolutely not. Gamescom, though, is August 23rd, which would be, what, almost exactly 2 months after Final Fantasy 16 releases? Maybe. But that would mean that they are operating on a 6-month marketing window for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is not a very large marketing window. That said, I also don't feel like they need a very large marketing window, right? Like, I feel like the vast majority of people that are going to buy Final Fantasy VII Rebirth were sold on it the day they announced it. And I don't feel like they needed to really push it much farther beyond that. So I don't expect to see Kingdom Hearts 4 there. I don't expect to see Final Fantasy VII Rebirth there. And I don't expect to see Dragon Quest 12 there. They're going to push Final Fantasy 16 one last time, get their sales, and then after they've gotten their initial big bulk of sales from Final Fantasy 16, they will advertise Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, probably in August. And then we'll have 6 months until Final Fantasy VII Rebirth ends up hitting out. And then once that comes out, we will get whichever one of those games is next. Whether it is whether it is Dragon Quest 12 or Kingdom Hearts 4, whichever one of those is closer when it comes to Square Enix's big litany of games that they can just continue to trudge and devour their way through, it will be one of those. But I don't think we hardly see anything on those until after Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And if we do, it'll be a short teaser trailer or something like that at like the Game Awards at the end of the year. And that's when I could maybe see us getting something, but otherwise I don't think we get anything at that point. So I don't expect to see anything of those lines there. As much as so many people would love for them to, it's not going to. That said, there is going to be something besides Final Fantasy 16 there that is Final Fantasy, and that is Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis. And that doesn't compete with Final Fantasy 16 because it's a fucking mobile title and it's a gacha game, okay? That will be there. We will probably, unless it gets delayed again. Mind you, this game was supposed to release in September of 2022, and it is now May of 2023. And the company that is developing Ever Crisis, it is still on their list of games to release this year. We've not seen anything in terms of a release date or anything like that. That will likely be at the play. Oh, wait, no, it might not be. It might not be. Because if the game is mobile only, we're not going to see it at a PlayStation State of Play. Unless the game is coming to PlayStation, we will not see it there. Shit, I'm wrong. I mean, it might, okay? It might. We are seeing some gacha games make their way onto consoles. The MiHoYo titles like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail are on PlayStation. I don't think we've actually seen anything from Square Enix that's a mobile game make its way onto PlayStation, but we might. Maybe this will be the first one. And yeah, I'm with you, ick on the gacha game, but I'm still going to play the ever-living hell out of Ever Crisis mostly because they are going to put Before Crisis in it as a story section, and it'll be the only way to play through Before Crisis's story. So, yeah. And I thankfully am able to, like, keep myself in check when it comes to mobile games, but I still do not like gacha games as a concept. So yeah, we won't see Ever Crisis there unless it's being brought. Dang. That sucks. Disappointed. Okay. All right. So what are some other things that we can see there? Baldur's Gate 3 releases in August. It could be there. Sure. That game makes me so grumpy. Stupid early access period and the way that they handled that. Here's the other one, though. The day of this recording, it is Thursday, May 18th right now. And this morning was the initial trailer for Mortal Kombat 1. Yes, it is called Mortal Kombat 1. They went from 11 to 1 because damn modern video games are fucking weird when it comes to the way that they release shit. So Mortal Kombat 1 was announced. It is releasing in September of 2023. We have not seen a gameplay trailer yet. It's going to be here. That is how they've done like the last 2 Mortal Kombat games. They released their cinematic trailer and then a week later they released the gameplay trailer. What's a week later? This is. So there'll be a gameplay trailer for Mortal Kombat 1. Here is probably one of the ones that I want to see the most there, and that is Pragmata. Really want to see Pragmata. Pragmata looks really cool, and I really hope that it's there, and I hope that we get a release date, and I hope that the release date is this year. Boy, howdy. There's some other gimmies. We'll probably see something for Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is currently in its like pre-marketing phase. Street Fighter 6 releases in like a week and a half. It releases on June 2nd, so it'll probably be there. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw something from Blizzard, maybe something for Overwatch / Diablo 4. Diablo 4 releases June 6th, so that could easily be there. Is there anything else? There's a couple of rumors. Obviously, these are just rumors. So, Blue Point Studios. These are the people that did the Demon's Souls remake as well as the Shadow of the Colossus remake that are both exclusive to PlayStation. They have been working on their next project for a while now, and people have been wondering what their project is. Now, there's been a rumor and a half that it's been, and there was a rumor for a while that it was Legend of Dragoon, and then that got shot down, I believe. The one that's been going around a lot is the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake, but that was talked about like 10 fucking years ago, and like Konami is starting to dip their toe back into video games, because we saw like the Silent Hill 2 remake coming from Bloober Studio, the people that made The Medium. That game is coming out sometime in the future. So, you know, Konami is open, I wouldn't say open for business again, but they're at least around in the slightest bit. So maybe we are going to see a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake sometime in the near future, right? And if so, cool. Will we see it now? I don't know. Would it be through Blue Point? Maybe. But I don't know if they're the ones to do it necessarily. They could be. But there's another game that, and I hate to evoke the name of God, it's fucking Bloodborne. Like, Bloodborne was released in 2015, and before Elden Ring, it was considered to be the magnum opus of frickin' From Software. That was a incredible Soulsian game, and it is still restricted to its 2015 release on the PlayStation 4 with shitty frame rate, bad frame timing. It barely runs 30 FPS. And everyone's like, why the hell is there not a PlayStation 5 version of this? Where's the PC version? Where do you guys just hate money? Like, everyone always wants Bloodborne. Bloodborne, Bloodborne. And like, I would love to see it too. I want to see that game in like a good resolution to where it's not running at like 720p, 30 FPS. I want to see that game running at least at 1440p at 60 FPS. You know, show me that nice big smooth frame rate of like 120 FPS. But where the fuck is it? Nobody knows. And so I would love to see that there. But who knows? But that's about all I got, both on my own end. There's always, of course, you know, the potential for just a surprise, right? There could be absolutely just somewhere off the wall. I'm trying to think of who else Sony owns. It probably wouldn't, I mean, I guess we might, they didn't do any DLC for God of War 1, did they? Not like real DLC. So I don't think we'd see any DLC for God of War Ragnarok coming out of Sony Santa Monica. Insomniac is going to be doing Spider-Man 2, almost guaranteed to be there. Naughty Dog, we might see Factions multiplayer there, but I don't think we'll see what Naughty Dog's next project is there. What else do we have? What other partnerships do they have? the biggest one outside of their first party studios is definitely the Square Enix properties. Death Stranding 2 is very possible. Sucker Punch Studios, whatever they're working on next, is possible. Could be Ghost of Tsushima 2. It could be something else. Guerrilla Games is who's doing the Horizon Zero Dawn remake. Well, we don't know if that game actually exists, but if it does exist, that could be there. Yeah, so I don't actually have any bets to place on this one. I'll place one, okay? I will place a single solitary bet, okay? If Square Enix has Dragon Quest XII or Kingdom Hearts 4 at the PlayStation Showcase, I'll give 5 gifted subs. I'm not going to bet on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth because they did have that short little teaser trailer at the Game Awards. And I could see them doing another one here, but really wanting to put their focus onto Final Fantasy 16, and then they'll really start pushing Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth after Final Fantasy 16 is out. So it needs to be Dragon Quest 12 or Kingdom Hearts 4. If either of those are actually at this fucking showcase, 5 gifted subs. I don't have anything else that I really want to bet on, though. Not that wouldn't be just a literal pipe dream. Like, I would love a new game from Arc System Works, people that created Guilty Gear Strive. They just announced their newest DLC character, Asuka, for Guilty Gear Strive. Guilty Gear Strive came out in 2020, so the game is 3 years old. But Guilty Gear Strive also has their hands in so many pots. And there's been a very strong rumor going around that their next game is going to be Dragon Ball FighterZ 2, which, I don't care. I would love a new BlazBlue game more than anything else, but the heads at the company have said that obviously, they could have just been lying out their teeth, but they've said that they will make a new BlazBlue game when they feel like there is something that they can do uniquely with it, so, don't got anything else I don't want to put forward, but that is the very long of what could be at the PlayStation Showcase Tuesday, May 24th, 2023. Let me know what your thoughts are, what you think it could be, what you'd like to be there, what you know will or will not be there, and we can hold each other and cry together because that's the reality of what's going to happen, and I'm sorry for that. Anyway, so yeah, we're going to get out of here. We got other stuff that we got to do, check out and all of that. So let me know what you thought of all of this. Put your thoughts down in the comments below. If you want to keep up the conversation elsewhere, 2 great places to do so are Discord and Twitter. Let's have a conversation. We've been having a conversation with chat because this video was recorded live on stream because we do stream on Twitch, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you do watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.